Hey everyone, welcome to our next video. In this one, we're going to be trying to solve for some variable in terms of other variables. And in this particular section, we're going to be using addition or subtraction, and there may be some division or potentially multiplication as well. Okay, so I have a few examples laid out here. The first one, we're going to try and solve for n. Okay, and we're given the equation 15m plus 9n is equal to -6. Okay? Don't be intimidated by the multiple different variables here. When we solve for a variable, it's just like it is if we have a single variable. We're trying to isolate that variable all by itself on one side of the equation. The difference there is that we're not going to have all of the variables disappear on the other side. Okay, so it's still going to be in terms of some other variable. Okay, so let's see if we can isolate n by itself on one side of the equal sign. Okay, so here, the first thing we can do is we can subtract 15m from both sides of the equation. And remember, we do this because we have to balance the equal sign. Keep treating it like a scale. Okay, so this is going to cause this 15m to go away. Okay, and now we're going to have 9n is equal to -6 minus 15m. Okay, and so now what we can do is we can divide both sides of the equation by 9. Okay, and uh, we now have n is equal to -6 minus 15m all over 9. Okay, let's move this down a little bit. Okay, so here, what we can do now, if we want, is we can separate this into two fractions. Okay, so this is the same thing as -6 over 9 minus 15m over 9. Okay, and we can simplify this further. We can see that -6 over 9 is the same thing as -2/3. Okay. Uh, and then we're going to have 15m over 9. This is going to be the same thing as 5m over 3. Okay. Because we can divide both 15 and 9 by 3. Okay. So if we want to, we can combine this back into one fraction if we like, and we can write it as -2 minus 5m over 3, or we can leave it as two separate fractions. Either way is fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this next example. Sorry, I didn't space these out very well. Here, we're going to try and solve for the variable b. Okay? In this situation, again, we want to try and isolate b all by itself on one side of the equation. So to do this, we can start by subtracting 7c from both sides of the equation. And what we get now is we get a minus 7c, okay, is going to be equal to 4b. And this is because subtracting 7c on the right side will eliminate the 7c that we had. So we have 4b is equal to a minus 7c. So the next thing we can do is we can divide both sides of the equation by 4. Okay, and these 4's will cancel. And then we're eventually left with b is equal to a minus 7c divided by 4. And I would just leave it like that. I think that's about as simple as you're going to make it there. Okay, you can't simplify it any further other than, I guess, separating it into two fractions. Either one will be valid, but we're going to leave it like this. Okay, so we've isolated b. For our next example, we are going to solve for r. And in this situation, we're given k is equal to 3r minus 7a. Okay, so again, our goal here is to isolate r all by itself on one side of the equation. Okay, so here, what we can do to do this is we can add 7a to both sides. This will eliminate the minus 7a on the right-hand side. So we'll have k plus 7a is equal to 3r. Try a little arrow here to show where we're going here. We have k plus 7a is equal to 3r. So now we can divide both sides of this equation by 3. These 3's will cancel here, and we'll get that r is equal to k plus 7a divided by 3. And again, I think that's probably how I would leave this. So again, in these situations, don't get overly intimidated by this. Just think of it, if you're told to solve for some variable, the only thing you really have to do is isolate that variable on one side of the equal sign, and then try and simplify the other side as much as you can, if possible. So yeah, hopefully that helps with this particular topic.